and petitioning to order at 11 a.m. And the first item on the agenda is request for approval of application for change of hours of seasonal wine and malt beverages with cordials restaurant license for Straight Wharf Fish Market. Amy, do you want to start us off?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So this is, as you mentioned, in regards to the Straight Wharf Fish Market license, approved in 2023. As you know, there were issues with the abutters, and conditions at that time were set as last call for liquor at 9 p.m. with closure at 10 p.m. Per their legal agreement, they had a cooperation and agreement between the parties that after 1 year, if there weren't any issues or how it went, that they would agree to extending liquor service to 10 p.m. With closure again by 10:30, the standard 30 minutes for folks to leave the premises. I'll say, and we've had no issues as far as we're concerned. We've had no calls, I've been down there. It seems to have run very well from our perspective, and have heard good things from some of the abutters as well. What I will say, again, what I included in here as far as select board and the hours, the licensee does have by right in MGL 138 the right to serve anytime we issue a liquor license. They have the right to serve until 11 p.m. The board itself cannot change those hours. They only have the ability to do 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. or administer 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. However, unless it's by mutual agreement. In this case, the licensee doesn't have an agreement with the abutters for this, so that's why we are going with this as well. So I will leave it at that. I know we have both of them here as well, but again, we've had no issues, and I would say it's been smooth as far as it can go for them. So generally, it's a consent type of thing. If there's any questions, they're here to answer those.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Matt?
Yeah, do we need a motion on this, or if we are happy, is this consent?
I would just do a motion to approve the application, because you will have to sign a form for the ABCC. Yes, so
Right.
let's
Okay.
just do a motion.
All right, I'm happy to see that they've done a great job. They're getting along with the neighbors. I'm happy to see everything is good, so I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Okay, second from Dawn by roll call. Matt?
Aye.
Dawn?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Malcolm? And I hear your mouth moving. And the chair votes aye. Kevin, did you want to?
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that was for 10:30.
Yes, so what the license will say, the conditions are that the liquor service itself would stop at 10 p.m. Like most places, once liquor service starts, it's a 30-minute for folks to consume their beverage and leave the premises. Okay. So from the agreement, from what I understand from the agreement, does say that liquor service would stop at 10 and consumption and folks being on the premises at 10:30. Is that correct?
No, it's actually 10:30.
It is 10:30.
Yeah, the agreement states we may seek an amendment to the liquor license to modify its scope and extend the liquor license service to 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, and the agenda item actually says extend service to 11 p.m.
Yeah, initially I had done that because I didn't have a copy of this agreement, and legally they could ask for service till 11 p.m. Initially it was by mutual agreement, and technically we can't really mess with that.
Right.
But they do have a legal agreement, closure restaurant. However, in the event that neither NAI or Straight Wharf Fish Market has been in default, this agreement as defined within 1 year may seek an amendment to the liquor license to modify its scope and extend the liquor license service to 10 p.m. It says 10 p.m.
And that is not the final draft.
Okay,
I have the signed final one here. It's frankly irrelevant because we're not going to change our
Yeah.
our operation, but I do have the signed one here, which
Okay.
that was amended. The final amendment that became 10:30. There were two changes. That was one of them.
Okay.
Can I make a suggestion, Amy?
Yeah.
By law, we are not allowed to limit before 11. So perhaps what we should do is revisit this motion and say we extend the license to 11, subject to any private agreements
Perfect.
between the license holder and the abutters, so that then that constrains, we're complying with the law by allowing to 11, and they're voluntarily constraining themselves based on a private agreement. Does that
I think
seem-
so. And yeah.
Okay.
I will confirm with our council, but that sounds appropriate to me, because we don't want to get involved into private agreements. And as far as the half hour, I mean, that's standard even in the 1 a.m. area for that half hour extension after service ends. So we will do that. We will do that then.
And I'll accept that as a friendly amendment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, and let's just vote again. Matt,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Malcolm. And I vote aye. Malcolm, we're not hearing you. I'm seeing your mouth move, but okay, so
How's
so
that?
that's
Can you
it.
hear me now?
Yeah, that's great. So you're extended until 11, subject to any private agreements that you have.
Great.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Have a good
Okay.
day.
All right, take care.
Thanks. Glad everything's going well.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, so now we're going to move on to public hearings. The first, I will open the public hearing to consider application for transfer of annual common victular with all alcoholic beverages license, restaurant license from 20 Broad Street LLC, DBA Dune Nantucket, Michael Getter, manager to Broad Street AC Opco LLC, DBA Billy's on Broad, Anna Warja Smith, manager for the premises located at 20 Broad Street. And a reminder when we do the motion that it has to indicate that it's not detrimental to the spiritual activities of a church. So, Amy.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And we actually don't have to do that one. I included it all because usually you do with new licenses, but I did check on that. And since it's existing license, we don't have to do that part. So we'll just do specifically the transfer. And we will handle obviously the entertainment license separately. So as you mentioned, this is a transfer of a license, what currently exists as Dune Nantucket at 20 Broad Street. The request for transfer to Broad Street AC Opco, or I don't know how they say that, that's going to be DBA Billy's on Broad at 20 Broad Street. We have Anna, just Anna, not Lee. Okay, Anna. So this is a transfer of the common vic, the transfer is asking for the same license that exists right now, which is an annual. And they are going to attempt to do so. We talked about the constraints of an annual license, specifically between January 15th and April 1st, which is that off period that seasonals cannot be open. So they are certainly going to attempt to do so. Michael Getter had done so for many, many years with Dune and had found that difficult in recent years. So they are going to do that. We discussed if that was difficult and found that they could not. If they do get approved, that there is a process to change the seasonal, but they are wanting to do so for the majority of that time. This has been a license that we've had no issues with, quite frankly, at all over the years with Michael Getter and Dune. It's been a good location. Existing license, I think, for over 15 years, or obviously was another license prior to this. Same conditions being asked to apply for. The applicant itself, Anna here, who is going to be the manager, is a longtime veteran of Nantucket restaurants. I'm sure many would know her, and is great to work with, and someone we certainly trust in this type of position. The ownership, our longtime seasonal restaurant, our seasonal residents They are in the restaurant business, as many know, in Florida as well, but have been on Nantucket seasonally for a long time. And I think the family actually owned this building prior to the current owner. So there is history there in this applicant. They are, and I know Matt had some questions today that we will address as well in this application. They are doing some renovations, and I'll have Anna speak to that as well. Matt, you had questions. First of all, as far as the lease is concerned, we are waiting from the owner, Tracy Root, a letter of intent, which is standard, being that the current lease will transfer upon approval of a liquor license. So the current lease, which I did forward over this morning, would just transfer upon approval, again, which is standard as well. Matt had some questions, I know, on the occupancy current versus, and I'll have Anna address what type of renovations they will be doing. Currently, it's 38 first floor, 36 second floor, and 40 as far as occupancy on the patio. So I will, I think, step back there and ask through you, Madam Chair, if the applicant can obviously answer any questions and address any type of renovations they are proposing.
Yeah, and Anna, if you want to just walk through the renovation, or does it make more sense for Matt to ask his question for you to answer directly? I think maybe that makes more sense. Matt, did you have a question about that?
Well, I was just asking because typically what we get is a architectural plan showing, what was there now and how many seats there are and where they are and what is going to be there after. And so we're able to look and say, this is what they're doing now. This is what we're doing after. So that was why I asked for that. There were 2 links in our packet that had a lease and a architectural, and neither of those links worked either, when I clicked on those. So that's why I wanted to read the full, application to understand it. So that's why I asked for that information, which I received like about an hour ago this morning. So the big picture is the concept staying the same. Is it going to be a dune type thing? And if it's not, what is it becoming? I think one of my concerns is this area is on the edge of the residential district. There's Ash Street's right behind. We're not far away from, sort of heading up to Academy Hill. A lot of that sound goes right up the street. So we want to make, I think we have to be very, as we are with other, like the Brotherhood, and as we are with the, I'm trying to think, like Lobster Trap, we have to be very careful that we are balancing the neighborhood with the business needs, which we always kind of get pushed back on. And so my concern is that, and, is this really going to 160 seats from 114 people to 160 or 148? I just want clarity on all that. I get a little worried about, I'm putting it all out there right now. I get a little worried about approving something before we know, if there's not a building permit and that hasn't been approved, I get a little worried about moving forward till we know what that is. So there's a whole bunch of things that I just would like clarity on like that. Thanks.
Okay, Anna, you want to try to tackle those?
Yeah, of course. Conceptually, it's definitely still going to be more of a restaurant than it is a bar. I think that's kind of the first thing. We're planning on serving lunch, so we'll be open from 11 to 11 outside. The plan is obviously to do last call and have the bar wrapped up similar to how Michael had the bar outside wrapped up by midnight typically. And only serve until 1 inside. So I think in terms of noise, hopefully just by moving everything inside, I don't think that will have very many issues with volume from outside. So, and then in terms of the reno itself, we've actually pretty much gutted the building. So that's why there's an addition of seats. We're planning on doing 40 pretty much outside, similar to what Michael had already. But inside we've moved the bar. So the reality of it is that we're creating more seats downstairs and then also upstairs because we took out the fireplace. it'll be one open dining room upstairs as opposed to the two separate rooms that Michael had. So it just adds more seats. And we also added a bathroom upstairs. So there's an extra bathroom now. So that's why the occupancy changed.
Okay.
Uh,
Matt, does that answer your questions?
Oh, it's starting to. I think so. If you've completely gutted it, you'll end up coming 100% up to code then, correct?
Yeah, they're putting
You'll
in
have to have you'll have to have lifts up to the second floor and do all that stuff.
Yeah, there's a lift. We're putting in a lift.
Wow. You'll have to do a lift to the second floor too?
As of right now, I don't believe so. Matt has spoken with the building department about that. So Matt McEachern. So
Okay.
as of
Yeah.
right now, it's just to the first floor.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? So Anna, just for the record, could you just review the number of seats versus when Michael was versus what you're gonna have?
So we're gonna have 149 total. So there's 40 outside. And I haven't really looked at what the breakdown is per floor, but I know that we are adding, I think, like roughly 30 seats from what Michael had originally.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course.
Anybody else?
I'll speak again if no one else will. I'm fine with transferring the license. I think where we have to be careful is going to be on the next step is going to be on the entertainment section of this.
Okay. Okay. This is a public hearing. Does anyone else wish to speak? Let me just look online, make sure we have no attendees. Okay. Okay. So, motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, by roll call, Tom,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Malcolm,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. So on the matter, the pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve the transfer.
Second.
Okay, by roll call, Don,
Aye.
Malcolm,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, next I'm going to open the public hearing to consider, so that's unanimous. Open the public hearing to consider the application for a new live entertainment license for Broad Street AC Opco LLC, DBA Billy's on Broad. Amy?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So, unlike liquor and CV, entertainments are not transferable, so they must apply as a new license. So for entertainment, prior to Dune was basically just pre-recorded background music. We have 3 spaces. Basically, you have the outdoor patio, which is enclosed and does have a way to, it's still going to do that, I assume. And the first floor and then second floor dining areas, and they were mostly pre-recorded music. In this application that I'll have Anna speak to, they are requesting the ability, because of how they've redone the second floor, to have that as a private event space as well. For certain items. So they're requesting to add special live event entertainment, a DJ type option for the second floor space only for special events. Now, in the case of a live entertainment license, as you mentioned, they're having to bring the building up to code. So this should take care of that. What we look for is the strict fire and building review to include fire alarm automatic shut off. In those cases, if the alarm goes off, it should shut the music off. There is sprinkler and other code requirements too as well. So that will have to be taken care of. Since the major part of it, the occupancy might have to be something too as well. But as long as the code is taken care of, that would be approved for those 2 items. The options you have, we've gone over several options over the years. People will want special events, and we try to choose one a month, one of this, and that's difficult. I think the options are either to, if you do consider approval for special events on that second floor, and put time limits and such, that either you approve it for that, or they have to apply for 1 day entertainment for those items, which we can do. We can do 1 day entertainments. And if you want to put a limit on that, if they do a certain amount, I keep it at 3. And then after that, they would have to get a permanent license for that. So there are several ways to tackle this once we get to that discussion. So I'll turn it over for Anna if she wants to discuss their plan.
Go ahead, Anna.
Thank you. So basically we were just kind of trying to do it as an event space type thing. It's definitely something that I'd encountered when I worked at Proprietors, that a lot of times weddings in particular, or any sort of after party, tends to want music that is not from the speaker system. So we just thought preemptively that we would apply for the live so that we wouldn't have to consistently come back to come for day of licenses, special event licenses. So that's all it is. We don't have regular plans for a DJ or anything like that. It's just only for events.
Questions, comments from the board? Matt?
Yeah, this is the one where I get a little worried. If we do it at all, it should be, I think it should be 1 day. I get a little worried about a separate area that could, I think if every restaurant downtown could, run a DJ or run, music until 1 and everyone out at 1:30 and I think they all would. And so I think, taking small buildings and, and taking the interiors, taking the, interiors out to make them sort of, go from 114 to 160 and then have a restaurant downstairs and potentially a nightclub upstairs type of thing. I think this is what happened in Aspen, Colorado. I think we have to be very careful, when we had, what was it, boarding house, et cetera, one of their original things was it was going to be a private club, and we asked them and they didn't do that. But, so that's a question for Anna. Is there going to be any kind of, club fee or private club or bottle minimums or table charges to get in or any of those things involved? Or is this, is there anything like that happening?
No. No.
So if this is going to be, and you're attesting to that to us now, because that's, that's important. That isn't in keeping with the island. I just want to make sure that
Yeah,
we're,
for sure. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think it's one of those things that truthfully, I think for us, myself, like I worked at Dune 20 years ago. So it's kind of like a coming home type thing. And I think for a lot of us, I think we really want to focus on creating a great restaurant. I don't necessarily think that we are worried and open to the public, especially with year round. So I think we don't have any intentions of membership fees or minimums or bottle service even. So
table fees, you're not planning any of that. All right.
no.
Amy?
Yeah, I just, excuse me. I want to attest to the fact that Anna in her other positions and certainly recently at Proprietors and others, when she had a wedding come and they wanted a little DJ, she came right to me. And she did go through that process and we did get it and we checked in with the fire department and all that. So she has history of checking with me on these types of things. So I trust that would happen.
Anybody else? I'm inclined to wait and see how it goes with applying for individual events, and then we'll see what the space plays out and how it ends up getting used in those events. Because if it becomes like a club disco kind of environment because of the patrons, maybe not with your intention, then having the license issued makes it more challenging to manage it after the fact. That's kind of where my head's at the moment. So a season of having to work with Amy on individual event licenses and then maybe come back next year is kind of where I'm at. Anybody else?
I think that makes sense.
It's okay.
Agree.
Okay, so motion to close this is a public hearing. Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, seeing none, a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved, Chair.
Okay, so Malcolm and Dawn, does that
Yes.
work? Okay, by roll call, Malcolm,
Aye.
Dawn,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. So do I have a motion? Based on consensus, it would be a motion to deny the application.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Erica's
Sorry,
hands-
can I just get clarification? So the whole application would be denied and then they wouldn't have background music? Is that?
Oh, is that the?
Or
so-
you,
I
that's what I'm
think-
wondering.
Make
Okay,
a motion to approve, but not for the,
Live
DJ.
or DJ?
okay,
Yeah.
right, okay. So it's a motion, the background music is approved and the live entertainment, but not the live entertainment would be the motion. Okay,
Yeah, so moved.
okay, second,
Second.
Second.
okay. I'm not sure who,
I think it was Matt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
either one, doesn't matter.
okay. By roll call, Dawn,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Malcolm,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. So hopefully that makes sense, Anna.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay, terrific. Good luck.
Thank you very much, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, next I'll open the public hearing. This was continued, right?
Yep, this is just reopening the public hearing.
Reopening the public hearing to consider the utility petition from Nantucket Electric for Still Dock. Where are we on this?
Yep, so at your last meeting on January 13th, you had 5 applications for the National Grid L1 feeder project. This one on Still Dock, there was a couple of abutter concerns. I did connect John Castro from National Grid with the 2 abutters that spoke. My understanding is that they have worked out any concerns. John is here to confirm that. And this is just being presented to you again for approval.
Okay. John, do you want to give us an update on your conversations with the abutters, please?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, John Castro, National Grid. I did speak with Mrs. Mitchell. She and her husband own a piece of property on Still Dock, and along with Mr.
It was the
Mr. Thompson.
Yeah.
So they had similar concerns with access during construction. Mrs. Mitchell, she informed me that she wouldn't be on the island until May. So I told her our schedule is to do the work in tentatively April 14th through the 21st. So she was fine with that. And we spoke with Mr. Thompson and met with Mr. Thompson. He had a couple of concerns. One of them was what we would do on the property. So we met with him, and I told him the same thing I told Ms. Mitchell. If we can coordinate if he needs to get down there for a delivery, we can certainly plate the trench and let him have access to it, so they can get the delivery. And the work on the property is minimal. We got to take down a fence to get the conduits to the pad, but then I informed them that I assured him that we would then replace the fence in kind once the work was done.
Okay, all right, terrific. Any questions from the board or a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, by roll call, Dawn,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Malcolm,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. That's unanimous. A motion on the matter?
I would
Motion.
suggest motion to approve with condition on the departmental comments.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Dawn and Matt, by roll call, Dawn,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Malcolm,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, I think that's it, right?
Thank you
And
very
all-
much.
Okay,
And I
Moved
will
to
have
adjourn.
that application before you on Wednesday night for final signature.
okay, terrific. A motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Second.
by roll call, Matt,
Aye.
Dawn,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Malcolm,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye.
Great.
Thank you, everybody.
Meeting, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Erica.
Welcome.